to a special episode of The Outtakes, which we are calling Director's Cut. I'm joined by Jacob. How you doing, man?
Hello. Yeah, not bad. It's a little bit later on in the day. It's taken us a little bit of time to concept, but I think this is gonna be good fun.
Well, let's see. So what's going on, right? So we've picked two directors to go head to head in a battle, and I don't know, one of them's gonna be snapped from the universe. I don't know what's
cut from existence.
Cut from existence. The libraries will vanish away, and you'll never have to think about them again. And what we're going to do is going to judge them based on three different categories. So we're going to two very subjective ones. So what we're going to see is we're going to see how many awards that they have been granted by the industry. We're going to see which of their films has the highest rating on IMDb. That's merging like your critic score and your audience score. Who's got the most liked movie? What that score is. And finally, we're going to try and judge who's done the best for cinema. So today's directors are Zack Snyder and Michael Bay, both very infamous between them. Both have...
That's definitely the best word to describe them, isn't it? Infamous.
They're definitely people who... The people who like them, like, they have a very good reason to like them. Well, no. They're sure they've got a good reason to like them.
Yeah, okay, that sounds better.
It's weird, because, like... They make very different movies, but I actually recently described Michael Bay to someone as like, not Michael Bay, Zack Snyder, as kind of like Michael Bay, but for people who want to pretend like they like movies. Like they're into films because
okay, yeah.
Everyone describes Michael Bay as like, oh, well, it's trashy, but I do something else. I have some friends over, we have some beers and explosions. It's a good time. And Zack's kind of the same way. You tune out all the bullshit for the actual 4-hour runtime, and every now and again you hear an explosion. And when you look up, it's a really dynamic shot. You repost it to Twitter, and you're like, "Look at how good films are, guys."
Yeah, you just turn up the saturation a little bit to make it a little bit more
just
like...
so people can actually see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm going to be bringing up Michael's back. Somehow I've ended up in defense of Michael Bay, and you are going to be bringing Zack Snyder's results to the table. So as far as awards go, we'll go through what they've won. But since there is award tables out there, like, say, the Golden Raspberries, who award less than favorable awards, any award won there is a negative point off of the total. Okay, so Michael Bay has received a fairly decent number of awards, been nominated for tons, received some. So we're starting off, Golden Raspberries. We're kicking off right with the bad stuff.
Fantastic.
So for Transformers 2 and 4, he has won Worst Director of that year. So knocking off 2 points immediately. A Chinese awards body called, and I'm really sorry if I butcher this, I think Hoi Biao, awarded him Outstanding Translated Foreign Film for Pearl Harbor. I'm not quite sure if that's kind of like Best Foreign Film category, or if it is specifically the translation. But Pearl Harbor did win that award. So one up for Michael Bay. MTV Movie Awards are just the worst, apparently. So they have given Best Action Sequence to him twice for Armageddon and Pearl Harbor. Now, to be fair, he's known for his action sequences,
He is.
That's his big thing. That's probably the awards he should be winning. However, he also won Best Summer Movie You Haven't Seen Yet, which is a very specific category, and Best Movie in general for Transformers for the first one. Best Movie of the Year. Transformers, MTV.
I feel like a lot of people will have watched Transformers as well.
It did really well commercially.
Best movie you haven't seen should be something like, I don't know, The Clockwork Orange, right? That's a good film, but not everyone will have seen that.
Yeah, now it's for cinephiles.
Underdog, almost. Yeah,
that's a good. Yeah, I get. Yeah, but apparently not. Transformers. The Oklahoma Film Critics Association awarded Transformers 2 and Transformers 3 as obviously worst film. It's the word obviously that I love.
Obviously. Nice.
The Saturn Academy of Sci-Fi Films awarded him Best Director and Best Sci-Fi for Armageddon. He's won 2 Scream Awards, Best Sequel and Best 3D Film for Transformers 3. And we're coming up to the end. the Show West convention awarded the favorite movie of that year to The Rock, which is a movie I forget that he's done a lot, to be honest with you. It stands out in his lineage as the weird movie of his.
Okay.
And the Teen Choice Awards awarded Pearl Harbor as the best drama. So when you take the negatives away, that's 5 positives awards. So 5 points to Michael Bay.
5 points.
Yes.
Okay.
What's Zach got for us?
So, Zach, this little list here, the first one of his films to win an award was 300. It won, let's have a look here, Hollywood Movie of the Year by the Hollywood Film Award Academy.
Fair dues.
And the Saturn Awards also awarded him an award for 300. I feel like I'm going to say award a lot in this segment. He got Best Director for 300.
Oh, fair enough. It's very visually striking, 300.
Absolutely. And then Watchmen, his next film that was his next film to win an award. Director of the Year from the Show West.
Yeah, I got Show West convention as well. Yeah,
that's the first one. I've not heard of that one. It'll be a little while before one of his films.
Oh dear.
Won anything again. And I say one of his films. The next thing that's on his Wikipedia is Wonder Woman, which won awards, but he didn't direct them.
Yeah.
So it got a Dragon Award, Best Science Fiction or Fantasy. It says shared with Patty Jenkins, Alan Heinberg, and Jason Fox. Fuchs. Is that Fox?
Yeah, let's go with that's Fox.
So, as Fox. So are we counting that one?
That's a very good question. The thing is so none of Michael's producing credits, as far as I can tell, happened to win any awards, so I didn't really have to think about it. But the way I present it is, if one of those awards would have been for the Ninja Turtles, I probably would have discounted it. You know, we don't really, or even Bumblebee, we don't really know how much work they did on it. Like, Chris Nolan has a credit on the new Justice League. How much do you think he actually did on that film?
Probably put in some warp sirens in the trailer, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like he's really connected with it. I think he's probably got the producing credit because it's the DCEU. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he's managed to get his foot in the door in being a part of the DCEU. So, do we want to credit him off for that? Because
it's difficult. Do you know what? Let's be generous for the first episode. Okay. Perhaps we'll get crueler later on. For now,
sure,
we'll allow it.
Okay. So, yeah, he gets that one for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman also won an award from the American Film Institute, top 10 films of the year.
Wait,
it just says one.
It won the top 10 films of the year.
Now, the information I have in front of me, I'm not sure whether it's number 1 or even if it's number 10. But it says it won the award for top 10 films of the year.
It's an interesting award.
Award. Wonder Woman also won Best Dramatic Presentation Long Form at the Hugo Awards. So Wonder Woman has given Zack Snyder 3 points alone there. And then finally, this year, the Hollywood Critics Association, he won the Valiant Award. I'm not sure what that is.
Oh, so that's just an award straight to him.
Yeah, I think it's like the... You know how sometimes you get, like at the BAFTAs, you get the... for the work they've done to cinema and everything overall. But yeah, looking at this little list here, there's only one negative award that he didn't win. He was only nominated, and it was Worst Director for Batman v Superman.
Oh, and he didn't win.
He dodged it. So he dodged that one. And overall, that's 7 wins.
Wow.
So it's 7 points, even though, as I say, 3 of them were for Wonder Woman.
Do you know what? We'll still allow it. Like, thinking about it, you know, he is influential in creating Wonder Woman as a movie. The movie that it is, I'm not saying a Wonder Woman movie ever, but the movie that is wouldn't it wouldn't be that way without him. You know, even if he didn't do too much work on that specific movie, the precedent he set with Man of Steel and BVS contributed to Wonder Woman. So I think that's fair to keep those awards.
Yeah.
So Zack takes it. So
round one
over. Slightly shorter round two. So the IMDb rating. So we have a movie, the highest rated movie, and its score. So for Michael Bay, it's The Rock. The Rock with a 7.4 on IMDb. Okay. Which, to be fair, it's an interesting film. It's always notorious as like, because it's fan fiction essentially. The Rock. Have you seen The Rock?
I've not seen The Rock. And every time someone says The Rock, I immediately think, oh, Dwayne Johnson.
Okay, so the Rock is it's a spy thriller action movie, but it stars Sean Connery, an old Sean Connery, and it's never outright stated, but it's very heavily implied that he is playing his version of James Bond, but as an old man. That's this movie. That's The Rock.
Okay.
And because of that bizarre little nature that he's essentially tried to make a Sean Connery James Bond sequel, kind of earns it a lot of notoriety and I think contributes to his higher reward. It's an interesting thing. Like, I don't know, like, I think outside of criticism of the man, it's a bizarre project. That's cool. Maybe deserved. Out of all of the stuff that he's produced, it probably is the thing that deserves the highest rating. What's Zach got for us?
So it's... Yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised. Was I? It's only been out a few days. It's his cut of Justice League has 8.5, which, again, kind of feels a bit... Most people who will be rating that on IMDb will be people who have seen that and gone, this is amazing.
Yeah,
I'm going to jump on IMDb and I'm going to rank it. It would have been interesting to see what its rating was before the film came out, because I imagine a lot of people would have just tried to give it ratings beforehand.
I think so too.
But yeah, it wasn't I don't think it was the clear winner. The next one below that was 300, and I think even that was the 8.
Fair enough. So Zack very much takes round 2 as well. The thing, the Snyder Cut, like, it's a weird movie, you know. So I just finished watching it today, and we might.
What's your raw reaction?
It's not good.
Oh dear. What would you give it out of 10?
Well, let's put it like this. So it's 4 hours long, and I got up to do other things maybe 8 or 9 times. I had to keep stopping it.
Oh my god.
The pacing of it is just atrocious, right? And the thing is, right, we're going to be releasing a show very shortly where we kind of talk about the Justice League and the Snyder Cut. So I'll have some things to talk about there, but let me just get this out of my brain, right? It's so slow. There's so much of it that can be removed. A large chunk of it's due to slow-mo. But the best example I can give you of like egregious shit in this movie is there's a segment at the start. It feels like it maybe goes on 15 minutes. It might be a little bit shorter. So it's a Wonder Woman only bit. And it feels like its job is to introduce Wonder Woman to us. But okay, so
oh dear.
This shot shows up over London. And it's following these 2 white vans, and it goes on for fucking ages, and the music's all ominous, right? And this guy steps out of the white van, and he's got like a hat on, like a suit and a hat on, and he walks up to this armed guard with a machine gun. Now, I don't know if Zack's been to England at all. We don't really have private armed guards with fully automatic machine. I'm just, it's not really something that happens here. So the guy walks past that guard, and then all of that guy's men jump out of the white van with their own automatic machine guns, and they kill that guard. They walk through, and then there's this elongated sequence where the first guy, he's got this briefcase, and you're following this trip around the building that they're in, which I think is some sort of museum. And the camera's attached to the briefcase for the entire time. And you think to yourself, oh, what's in this briefcase? And your immediate thought is, well, it might be a bomb. But then it goes on for so long that you start to go, well, no, that's too obvious. It can't be a bomb. It could be like, I wonder who these guys are. I wonder if they're part of different organizations. They could have ties to Lex Luthor. They could be like Darkseid's guys in like human disguise. I wonder what's in the briefcase, right? It's a bomb. It's just a bomb. It goes on for ages, and then the reveal is it's a bomb. So they take these kids as like hostage, and then Wonder Woman shows up, and she lassos one of the guys, and she's like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And he doesn't answer her, and she says, "This is the lasso of truth. It compels you." And then he decides to answer her. So it's more like she compelled him.
What? What? That's not how that... You can't... I'm explaining this to the audience about what this does, so now you're allowed to give me your answer.
Yeah. And then he says, I'm not fucking making this up. He says, we're a group of reactionary terrorists who want to send Europe back into the Dark Ages. That's the line he delivers. We are a group of reactionary terrorists, right? So she goes into the room, she deflects bullets, there's a big fight sequence, right? Yeah. And then she takes the bomb, she throws it up through the roof, and then she comes back, and the guy's like annoyed, the first guy, the guy in the suit. So he grabs his pistol, he's like, well, I'm just going to shoot one of these kids, someone's going to die today. And there's no bullets in it. So then he picks up a full auto, and he says, like sheep to the slaughter. Which, okay, I'm going to back up for a second.
Okay, yeah.
He's speaking like just a cardboard cutout cartoon supervillain, just obvious bad guy lines. And two, that's not the way that phrase works. You say that because like sheep literally go in like a line, like they just follow through.
Yeah.
The line is fish in a barrel, Zach. That's the line.
That would have been better, wouldn't it? Because you don't go into the field of sheep and go, right, I'm going to kill some sheep, like sheep to the slaughter. You take the sheep to where they're going to be.
Bring them, yes.
Never mind.
So
never mind.
It goes on forever. Its purpose is to set up and introduce Wonder Woman, even though she's been set up and introduced in 2 previous movies, and you don't learn anything new about her during it, and it goes on for about 15 minutes. Multiply that by the 4-hour runtime you have Justice League.
Oh.
It's not a good film.
Oh. And for clarity, you haven't seen Joss Whedon.
I've not seen the Whedon cut. I don't know.
Okay.
Was any of that stuff in the Whedon cut?
There was a museum bit, I'm pretty sure. There was a bit where she was like paintbrushing a sculpture or a statue.
That happens later on. That's still in the Snyder cut.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure there's a bit where she's fighting some dudes in a museum. It was ages ago since I watched it, and it's Justice League. I paid it as much attention as it deserved.
Yeah. He still takes the point in our little challenge there, but like I think there's recency bias, and it's the general vindication of this thing actually getting made. You know, I think I cynically said like ages ago that when it comes out, it's going to be fascinating because it's probably not going to be great, but so many people have tied their personalities to it that, you know, it's going to be a shit show when it comes out and it's not good. But the thing that I failed to realize is that whatever I think of Zack and the way he makes movies, he does have some legitimate fans who really dig that style. Like, whatever I might have to criticize it, and it really does seem to be just their thing. So, points to Zack, which essentially means he wins this.
I mean, it does. It does,
yeah. But regardless, we're going to argue the very last thing, which is what our directors have done for cinema. So, I mean, I won't make the point for you, but like, jumping off from that about Zack Snyder, the Snyder Cut is going to set some precedents going forward.
Absolutely.
We're not really going to know the fallout of it, but it'd be interesting to speculate. For Michael Bay, his contribution to cinema, again, regardless of what I think of his movies, is he has got
explosions.
He's got lots of
explosions.
I mean, he's contributed more to, like, I think the American military than he has to cinema.
I wonder how many people have joined, like, the US military because they watched, like, Transformers.
As a direct result of Transformers. The thing is there will be a correlation. We laugh, but there will be at least.
Probably will be, yeah.
But Michael Bay has a commitment to the advancing technology of cinema. I'm pretty sure he doesn't film like at all on actual film anymore. He just makes full digital productions. And he's been a very big advocate for IMAX and before it 3D, you know? And 3D is an interesting one to talk about because it still lingers around in cinema, but it's not a selling point like it was a couple years ago. Like,
no.
If you're going to an IMAX screening, you're probably going to the 3D one, but it's not really because you're interested in seeing it in 3D. It's just like, they usually double them up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like going to the cinema, picking a new film. I say, what was last? I think the last time I watched in IMAX was, it might have been Endgame.
Yeah,
I think I deliberately chose 2D IMAX rather than 3D IMAX. Not because it was any cheaper, or it's just that I don't really care about 3D, to be honest.
I think this is the thing: is pushing technology forwards one thing, but 3D, like, not necessarily IMAX, because IMAX, I get the appeal of IMAX. I do love seeing a film in IMAX. It's fucking awesome. 3D, I remember going to see The Force Awakens in 3D, and there's almost nothing in that movie that is there because of the 3D. Nothing is benefited by it necessarily, but we have gotten to a point of, like, I don't know, it's a nice depth thing. I don't miss it when I watch things in 2D.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember going to the toilet and coming back, and I had my glasses on, and I was walking towards the screen. I think it was like my second viewing or something, actually, because I saw that movie way too many times when it came out of the cinema. It was The Force Awakens. It was a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was near the start of the movie where all the stormtroopers are in that village. And I just remember walking down the cinema steps towards the screen, and just it looked like the scene was happening, you know, behind, like...
That's cool.
I could have kept walking through the screen and ended up in the scene, you know?
Yeah.
We've gotten to that point. But I do agree with you that I don't really purposely pick 3D movies.
No. If anything, I avoid it.
And then even shooting IMAX, this is, I mean, I don't really care about defending Michael Bay, so and he's already basically lost this competition anyway. But the very last point I could make, actually, is that the commitment sometimes... results in negative things, being Transformers 5, which was shot on IMAX but only sometimes for some reason.
Oh, is this the one that would change screen ratio between shot?
Yeah, literally during one scene that was shot on different types of cameras for no apparent reason. And especially now coming away from having watched WandaVision, which played around with aspect ratio, but for a very specific purpose, and it was interesting to play out. It's almost worse to see that this guy was accidentally doing it due to, it's a commitment to technology, but it's a lack of commitment to film, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting that he managed to, like, it must be a mistake. There's no way that's a choice to be shooting on two cameras. And also, couldn't you fix that in post?
Just think.
Add the black bars back on top of IMAX to hide your mistake.
Yeah.
It just makes it feel like or whoever was editing it, or presumably he must have got to watch it before it went to cinemas. He just didn't care.
Right.
Because there's no way you don't notice that.
It's a famous thing with Michael Bay that he shoots for the edit, but I don't...
Yeah.
I think he checked out by the time of Transformers 5. Like, whether it was checked out of cinema or just checked out of this franchise, I don't know which one it was. But it doesn't feel like he was there.
Which, to the detriment of Transformers 5, was it?
Yeah.
I don't think him checking out of the Transformers movies is such a bad thing.
Jesus, no. Like,
Yeah.
I remember when Bumblebee got announced, I was checked out of those films as well, right? I didn't see 5. I still haven't seen 5. I've seen like reviews of 5. I've seen like comedy reviews on YouTube. I've enjoyed seeing people rip it apart. I've got no interest in watching it. When Bumblebee was announced, I wasn't going to go see it because I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You're giving this Bumblebee a solo movie? No way. And when the trailers came out, it was distinctly different, you know? And as someone who actually does care about Transformers as a property...
that's kind of apparent if you're watching the YouTube version of it.
Yes.
See.
What a breath of fresh air Bumblebee was. Like, it's not an incredible movie in, like, just the bubble of movies, but in that lineup of Transformers films, Jesus Christ.
It's so different and just...
It's so much more pleasant.
Breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
I was supposed to be defending Michael Bay.
I mean, looks. Okay, so you've got special effects for Michael Bay.
New technology like IMAX. What have you got for Zack?
Zack Snyder, well, he's... For cinema, as you sort of said, I'm very intrigued to see what release the Snyder Cut. It's more of a campaign than him himself will have done for cinema. I mean, we've had director's cuts of movies before.
When he started posting pictures of his cut on that social media platform that only he uses now, I can't remember what it's called, but I think it starts with a V, but like it propped up one day and he was on it. Like there was a bunch of celebrities on it, and everyone joined it and then left within like the week, but he still uses it. When he started posting that, I don't think that was him getting a campaign started. Do you know what I mean? I think because obviously it's weird with Justice League and Zack Snyder, because I do have to slightly separate. You know, it's really it is tragic that he didn't finish that original movie, not because of the integrity of vision and stuff, but because of the actual human tragedy that occurred to him during shooting, you know? And I suspect that when he started posting pictures of it, it may have been part of his like grieving process in a way, coming to terms with having moved on. You know, and I don't actually think it was like a campaign to get Warner Brothers to do this. But now it has happened, and it's a success. That's the other thing. Yeah. It's weird to think about the precedents it's going to set.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to, because are there any other films you can think of that you want to see the director's cut of? Because
it depends what your parameters are. Because my immediate thought to that even was I'd love to see Edgar Wright's Ant-Man straight up, but he didn't shoot anything. It was just test footage, you know.
Yeah.
So if it's a case that something was made and was altered, but then a lot of this stuff that gets altered, like I guess I'd like to see maybe the version of Rogue One before it got altered.
Yeah.
I don't know how much got lost, but there was a lot of stuff in trailers that didn't end up in that movie. I don't know how much it would improve it, but that'd be interesting. But a lot of this stuff, like that you hear about interference, like Josh Trank's Fantastic Four, I think it would have been different, but it wouldn't have been better. I really don't think it would have improved the film.
It's also interesting because if Zack Snyder had been able to complete Justice League as on time as it was, rather than Joss Whedon coming and taking over, it wouldn't have been what we just got. There's no way they would have released that 4-hour cut film into cinemas.
It wouldn't have been 4:3. Like it would have been a full 16:9 movie. Yeah.
Which is different because we've briefly touched on, I'm sure, in a show in the past, how streaming services are allowing films to become longer. And is Zack Snyder's Justice League just a long film rather than his completed vision? Has it just got loads of extra bits tacked on because it's going to streaming? Or is it his complete thing?
So one of the weird things about the Snyder Cut is, because at one point it was going to be a mini-series. And I don't actually know how much better I might have got on with it as a mini-series. The thing is there is actually a way to test it in the long term, because there's chapter markers in the movie.
Yeah.
You actually get to find out how the mini-series would have been broken up. And the way it was playing out, I don't think I would have necessarily gotten any better with it, honestly, as individual episodes. They would be structured weird, you know? But it would mean that the big action sequences, because there is some impressive action sequences in it, I would have perhaps enjoyed seeing them one every week, rather than going, oh my god, I'm 2 hours into this movie and this is an elongated action sequence. I know it is, and I've got another 2 hours to get through. Do you know what I mean? And you start to go through the process. So it makes me think that I remember when Batman vs Superman came out, and it very quickly came out that he shot a lot more than got put in the movie. Then they did the Ultimate Edition, which included some of that stuff that he shot. But again, I don't think it was everything. I think he's a guy that overcommits. Like, I don't think he cuts scripts down at all. I think it seems like he just shoots everything he possibly can from a ridiculously huge script and tries to condense and cut it down later. So in that sense, you could say that he might have pushed and fought for a 4-hour. I mean, Return of the King is 4 hours, the extended version. It's not out of the realm of possibility that this is just things that directors want to make.
Actually, that's true, because DVDs exist.
Exactly.
So, yeah. No, fair enough. In which case, the fact that he has been able to very publicly realise his complete vision, and the fact that people want that.
Yeah.
Like, they will campaign for it.
The thing that worries me with this precedent is potentially that what Warner Brothers have learned and what the film industry has learned as a whole is people will pay for a quote-unquote fixed version of something the studio broke. They will actually pay for it twice. They will see the original version, they will complain about it, and then they will pay for the fixed version. There is already people campaigning for David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad as well, which I don't think is going to get made. I don't actually think it's going to be immediate chain reaction of like all the DC movies are going to get quote-unquote director's cuts. But I do think it starts a potentially dangerous thing of... Well, actually, does it start? Because for a long time, studios have been selling... Like, Blade Runner had like 5 different cuts.
Yeah.
They kept breaking it and kept selling different versions. It's just, this is the biggest new movie to have that happen. So is that a Snyder exclusive quality, I suppose?
Of recent times, yes. I think it's is it more popular than Blade Runner? I'm going to say yeah. I feel like more people...
more popular than Blade Runner, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it is possibly the most popular thing to ever receive a director's cut, would you say?
To this scale as well, because sometimes director's cuts are just extra footage. And as far as I understand, there's not too many changes from the plot to the Whedon cut, but there is a lot of stuff in this movie that wasn't in
that's true.
that version.
I mean, it had reshoots, so loads of stuff was added to it. Okay.
One thing with Zack, if I could credit him with potentially anything, unwittingly, is I think he helped us get to where we are with popularizing superhero films in general. Like, when Watchmen came out, because Watchmen's a movie that if you read the comic, it's very obvious that he doesn't understand what it's even debatable that he hasn't read it, I know he's looked at the pictures. I know for a fact that he's looked at the pictures. I don't know that he's read the text. But in 2009, people didn't think superhero movies could be what Watchmen was. They didn't think they could be properly mature. They didn't think it was a thing for adults. Like Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies might have been a big deal for us because we were 5. But for the general population, it didn't create the superhero boom. And I'm not necessarily...
We did have Blade.
We did, but again, I don't know how many people were big Blade fans.
No.
A lot of people have checked out that Watchmen movie that I think otherwise might not have done. And I do wonder if perhaps it caused them to check out some other stuff afterwards.
Possibly.
I actually don't think in a weird way we'd have got Deadpool.
Ooh. That's a bold call. Would we have got Deadpool
I know
without
that
Watchmen?
obviously the test footage helped push it along, but that specific R-rated popular Marvel hero movie, I don't know that we'd have got that movie.
Ooh. You do make a good point there. I mean, he's also done other things that have... I was saying he's done other things, but I've got his little list here. And other than Watchmen, his other DC stuff, and maybe 300, I don't think any of them will have had too much of an impact on other stuff we've got. Actually, having said that, Dawn of the Dead. If we hadn't had that, we wouldn't have got Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, no, that's a good point.
We might have done. It just wouldn't have been called Shaun of the Dead. It would have been called, 28 Shauns Later or something. Rubbish like that.
You make a good point, but then I could counter it with Edgar Wright's a really big classic cinema guy, so I think he probably still would have made the movie and probably called it Shaun of the Dead. I think it probably just helped that people were thinking about Dawn of the Dead. Like, commercially, it helped that people were thinking about Dawn of the Dead when Shaun of the Dead came out.
So, I mean, if if we didn't have Zack Snyder, we wouldn't necessarily have Deadpool. Maybe
bold take, but there's a chance.
Bold take, but yeah, the DCEU would be different. Maybe better.
Now that's a good point, actually. So DC, when you think about, I understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand why they've gone down the path they went down. The Dark Knight trilogy made so much money. Like, The Dark Knight is a great movie, and that's also done a ridiculous amount to help popularize superhero fiction within the general, obviously, the space. Because The Dark Knight was grounded and gritty, when they were doing any other DC property, because Green Lantern failed, right? Mm-hmm. It was obvious that they didn't think they could take that same tactic. And to be honest with you, if you're not going to have Chris Nolan, I don't know who else you pick to do it from that angle. I don't think it's the angle you should have taken it in the first place. But I don't know who else you pick other than someone like Zack Snyder to try and make that kind of movie.
I mean, my next guess, which is, I think, could be another interesting director's cut versus episode, J.J. Abrams.
JJ doing the DC. Oof.
I can kind of see it happening. Blockbuster, relatively light-hearted. Because Zack Snyder tried to be gritty with his, at the same time.
Yeah.
Wasn't, because it was never going to be. It was always going to be this PG-13 or 12 rated, trying to be as popular to everyone as possible movie.
Yeah.
I honestly, there's a part of me that thinks, I mean, someone out there has to make the action movies that are full of explosions and are just a bit bad, right? It's a shame it had to be Michael Bay with Transformers because there's a lot of potential in there.
But then do we... That doesn't have to be bad, you know? Look at John Wick.
Okay.
The Brief is all right to watch.
And Fast and Furious, we have those.
Even Fast and the Furious movies, they're dumb as shit, but like they don't hurt your eyes to look at.
Is it gonna go to Zack Snyder then, do you think? Who's done more?
Who's done more for cinema?
So
Zack Snyder or Michael Bay?
If we were to take away Michael Bay,
all right, okay. Here's the last push I'll make for Michael Bay. Actually, right?
Okay, go on.
Do you think CGI would be in the position that it is right now if it wasn't for movies like Transformers? Because in 2007, you know what? That movie looked really good. Like the CGI, somehow the CGI got worse in later movies. I don't know how that works, but they were very impressive in 2007, and they remain impressive now. And I think there's a chance that, like, because of movies like Transformers, because of movies like Avatar, they've paved the way to have full realized CG characters like your Thanoses, for example.
Yeah.
Because of the way they continue to push tech, unfortunately over story, unfortunately over craft, but continue to push it.
Yeah.
And Zack... I mean, Zack doesn't typically do it. He does. The thing is, Zack Snyder's a pretty talented cinematographer. He knows how to frame a nice shot, but I don't know that that's the same as pushing technology, you know?
No. Yeah. I mean, you did say there, you did bring in the example of Avatar for also pushing CG limits. I think without Transformers, we still would have got Avatar.
We still would have got Avatar, yeah. James Cameron still would have quite happily done something like that. Okay, so they've both done not very much. Zack might help push in dangerous studio actions.
Michael Bay does like real explosions.
Michael Bay does like practical explosions. Do you know
what? At the same time, CG explosions are getting better as well. There's a cracking explosion in The Mandalorian 2 where they add in like currents of it spinning in on itself as like a TIE fighter flies over it.
That's cool.
And it looks it's not just a generic explosion, it's very unique, and they would have add lots of elements to it. So they are still looking pretty good. Okay. But then again,
you know what? Right. This is a very specific situation, but I think it'll reach us to our claim. Michael Bay almost bankrupted Paramount with Transformers 5. He didn't, but that entire studio came very fucking close to shutting down with Transformers 5. So
Okay.
that's a big impact on cinema, but like a particularly negative one. As far as I know, Zack Snyder's never nearly bankrupted anyone. So
True. Okay.
So there might be movies Paramount couldn't make because they nearly went bankrupt, and there might be movies that Warner Brothers were fine to make because they didn't. And based on that, I think Zack's done more for cinema by not bankrupting Warner Brothers.
He's done fewer bad things, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We should clarify that this final section isn't just who's done the most; it's who's done the most good things.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
okay. Yeah. And we could go around in circles forever trying to.
Snyder's got a clean sweep. Director's cut. Yeah. Michael Bay, you're getting cut.
You're getting cut.
You're getting cut on the cutting room floor. Control V, cut. All right.
Control X, come on. That's cut. Control V is paste.
Not in... No, it's just V in Premiere. Jesus Christ, I don't even know how to use fucking editing software every week. Okay, well, I thought that was a good time. So,
yeah.
Here's the kind of the internet YouTube standard calls to action. If you've enjoyed this little show that we did, let us know by hitting that like button and subscribing for more content from the outtakes. You can also hit follow if you've been listening to us via podcast. That'd be cool. And potentially, if you've got any ideas for any other directors you'd like to see go head to head, let us know in the comments down below. But I don't know. Can you pick Michael Bay now? He's just been cut. Zack can maybe get a return. Yeah.
If very specific circumstances, I reckon maybe see Michael Bay back, but not for quite a while. We'll leave him to cool off.
Michael Bay.
No.
Okay, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.